Morning, Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. I'm Larissa, my video diary. How are you today? Oh my God. So I finished that painting yesterday. I think I have to look at it today and decide whether it's done or not, or whether I want to go back in and futz with stuff. I looked at a photo of it last night for quite some time, and then I looked at photos of the other studies, and was thinking about compositions and how they're going to be placed on the canvases and pigments and all that jazz. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some of them smaller. Although I like the 40-inch by 40-inch format. Omar and I were talking about, exhibition of this work. And he's like, how are you going to show this work? I'm like, I got to find a home. I got to find a place for my big painting. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta find a place for it. Yeah. Anyway. This painting. So I got the boats and the people in the boats yesterday, and it went easier than I thought it was. It seriously did. And I thought I was going to use this little palette knife. I thought I was going to use the palette knife, but I didn't. I used a brush. I used a small brush. And it went a lot better than I thought it was going to go. It did. Now, there's a couple spots on the painting that bother me because of the way the paint looks, but I was talking to Omar about that last night, too. The cadmium can be challenging to work with, cadmium red in particular. So I have the hiccups. Why are the hiccups? The cadmium red and the yellow ochre. If you don't have just the right amount of oil and stuff mixed in with in ratio to the impasto or the Zec medium, whichever, right? And then the paint it's like chunky, has like a chunky. A couple places where the paint got chunky. I'm a little upset about it, but overall the painting's good, and it's an accurate representation of the dream. Yeah. I was telling them about the different dreams that the images are from. I didn't talk about all of them. A couple of them we didn't talk about, but talked about some dreams that I don't have images from too. And he's like, oh my God. I don't think he grasps the strangeness. He's like, your dreams are weird. They are. Yeah. Yeah, so I've been allowing myself to be just totally consumed by this painting work, and I've been kind of ignoring the news. I have been kind of ignoring it. So, I don't know what's going on in the world. Larissa's a crazy painter right now. Yeah. The whole, the series is, it's an ambitious undertaking. So far, having gotten the first two paintings done, And like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I need to go in and look at the painting today, you know, after having slept on it, and just to decide whether or not, because it's not signed yet. So once I decide it's finished, then I'll sign it. That's how it goes. I never work on something after it's been signed. No, it's bad juju. It is. Went to bed with wet hair. This is what happens when I go to bed with wet hair and I don't tie it up or anything. It looks like this. Yeah. Took a shower last night before I got in bed because I felt gross. Because I am gross. Yeah. Yep. So it's Memorial Day weekend, huh? Lots of people can have fun. I'm going to open the gallery, be open, because maybe there'll be people out and about. Maybe. So, you know, because there's people who have lives who go out and, like, have fun. And now I have a gallery and a place where people go out and have fun. So I should be open on those times. I don't know, maybe someday I'll be able to pay somebody to work there for me sometimes, or maybe trick somebody into volunteering. I don't know. No. I gotta be able to trust someone. Right? Because it's my special space. I had a crazy dream last night. I had a dream that it was in a, there's this weird little, like, arcade place, right? That I've been with Omar in my dreams a couple times. With this mom one time, it was on a boat. Sometimes it's on a boat. Sometimes it's in this, like, it's on this street, right? But it's somehow it's like the same place, or it's like the street's near where the boat is, or whatever. It's like it's in this same area, whatever. Last time I was there, was when I was in that room full of water that filled up with water, and Paul Cook was there, this guy that I used to do improv with. Anyway, it was that street. We're on that street, and I walk in to this, like, high school or whatever, and it's like the classroom is huge. There's all these desks, and we pretend to be students, and I'm wearing all this, like, kabuki or butoh makeup, like, all painted. I'm all painted white for some reason. I don't know why. Like the bass player in that band, Ninja Nisu. Like, I'm all painted white, and I'm having an allergic reaction. I'm getting this rash all down the side of my face, and over my shoulder and down my back, and it's itching. And I'm trying not to scratch it. And the woman who's the teacher of class, like, I walk up to her. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "I want to go to the bathroom and wash this makeup off my face. I'm getting this, like, rash, and it itches, and then I'll see if it's the makeup or if it's something else." And she's like, "Oh, okay, you better do that, because that's a symptom of the new COVID variant." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, you should go wash off the makeup and we'll see." So I go to the end of this bathroom, and I'm washing my face. Like, I'm lathering up, and I'm washing my face and my neck, and my eyelashes are coming off in there, but there's, like, these huge bunches of eyelashes. They're, like, multiplying in the water. I'm like, I'm like holding on. I'm holding them in my hand. And I'm looking at them. I'm like, that looks like way more eyelashes than what I had glued to my face to begin with. Where are all these eyelashes coming from? And I look in the mirror, and I still have all these, like, eyelashes. They're, like, multiplying. The eyelashes are multiplying on my face. It was weird. And so I get the makeup washed off. And then I go back to the classroom. And after a couple minutes, I'm getting more rash. And I said, "Look, I'm still getting more rash." So I think I need to go see a doctor. She's like, yeah, you should go do that. I said, I'm not really a high school student anyway. She goes, oh, really? And I'm like, no, I'm older. And Omar's like, okay, let's go. So Omar and I go, and we're walking, and we come up on this big elderberry tree, okay? Now the elderberry tree falls down, and we're like under the elderberry tree. And the elderberries at the top of the tree, they're like starting to ripen, and I can see them. And there's like all these onions that are tied in the top of the tree. I'm like, how did these onions get in the top of this tree? It was really weird. There were all these onions in the elderberry tree. Why were there onions in the elderberry tree? I don't know what's wrong with my brain sometimes. Yeah, that's what I dreamed. I was dreaming last night. Strange. Here comes the tea. I'm glad. So I have cramps. Time to drink from skulls?
Yeah, time to drink from skulls.
I was just talking about, I had a really weird dream last night that, there's a whole bunch to it, but at one point, this elderberry tree fell on you and I.
Okay.
And we were underneath the top of the elderberry.
Okay.
We had a bunch of them in our yard in Oakland, and then we had a couple in our yard in Santa Rosa.
Okay.
And the elderberries were ripe on the top of the tree, but somebody had tied, there were onions, there were like bunches of onions that were tied in the tree.
It's weird.
It was really weird. We were stuck under the tree, and I'm looking at these onions, and I'm trying to pull them, and I'm like, why are there onions in the tree? I don't think that would make a very good painting. No, I don't. But the other ones that I've drawn, the other ones I've done the studies for, they're all going to be good paintings. Yeah. 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 Anyway. It's really all that's on my mind is those paintings right now. That's all I'm thinking about. That's all I have room in my brain for. That's not 100% true. Planning this event for later in June. There's a little bit of that too. And I redid my bulletin board yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm waiting for some fabric to arrive to make these little valances for the windows at the gallery for 4th of July. Because there's a whole group of ladies that go around and ask you to decorate your window for the holidays, right? So I decided, because my windows are painted already, they have my logo painted, frosted on them. There's an opening at the very top of the window on both of the windows. It's like 6 inches or 8 inches, right, wide. Well, it's 8 inches on one side. I think it's like 10 inches on the other side. And I ordered some tension rods. And I'm going to make just a little valance with some patriotic fabric. Put it up there. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yep. I can do that for all the holidays because they decorate for everything, right? I'll make a little Christmas valance for Christmas season. I might have a tree during Christmas. I got to get those ornaments made too for the tree for sale, right? And so I'll have a tree, at Christmas time. And then during the fall, I'll get some fabric. It's got pumpkins or something on it. Make a little pumpkin valance. Yeah. I can change out my valance, and that'll be my window dressing. So I can be part of the downtown. Because I'm a storefront. I had a storefront. It's kind of like Sesame Street. Who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood, in your neighborhood, oh, who are the people in your neighborhood? They're the people that you meet when you're walking down the street. They're the people that you meet each day. If you're in Saratoga, Larissa is a person in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. Yes, Larissa is a person in your neighborhood. She's a person you could meet when you're walking down the street. Yeah. Anyway. I'm trying to think if there's any news that I've seen. Oh, there's all this headlines about the debt ceiling. I'm like, ugh. Whatever. What else? Oh, Omar and I listened to half of a podcast last night that was discussing a recent Supreme Court ruling, and I didn't even listen. I was so angry halfway through listening to it. I was like, I don't feel like being this irritated. We didn't even listen to hear what the Supreme Court ruled on it, and I should look it up and find out. But it was about when is it borrowing from an artist and when is it copyright infringement? And they were using Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was a dick, and he screwed over so many people, and his work isn't even made well. So like he made his culturally and philosophically, he defined the pop art era, right? Even though what's his face? His name Rosenberg. Anyway, Rothenberger. Blah, 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 blah. You know? Oh, pop art. Oh my God. But I've been to his museum. And, like, I've learned a lot about him. I've read a lot of his stuff. I've seen his movies. I love the Velvet Underground. Right? And he produced the Velvet Underground. Velvet Underground is one of my favorite bands of all time. But he was a dick. He was a real dick. I mean, they tried to kill him like 4 times. He was a dick, Andy Warhol. And he took from people all the time, and his pieces are poorly fabricated, right? Like, the paintings are terrible. But they were talking about, borrowing this image from a photographer, specifically from an image of Prince, and that she was mad because she didn't get any credit or any money. And I'm like, yeah, he's dead, long gone and dead, and she's still alive, right? Like, and this image of hers has been used, and somebody else is making tons and tons of money on it and notoriety. And there's this other woman talking about, like, oh, in the music industry, the film industry, blah, 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 blah. And this will have this repercussion or that repercussion. And it's like, the industry is shitty, right? People get screwed over by the industry all the time, such as myself. And I'm not special. I'm not the only artist I'm sure I'm not the only artist that's stolen from all the time. It just comes down to, do you have enough money to sue? Do you have enough money to sue? Right? And so the industry just gets away with it. And then there's this woman talking about, oh, this will compromise the industry. I'm like, no, it won't. Nothing's going to compromise the industry. The industry fucks people over all the time and steals. Right? I've had so many concepts and compositions and you know, lyrics and scenes from literary works stolen and appropriated. Oh, it's just, it's, you know, inspiration. It's not fucking inspiration. It's intellectual property theft. Right? It just comes down to, do you have enough money to pay lawyers to duke it out in court? Or do you belong to a group that is considered oppressed enough for the ACLU or NAACP to come to your defense? Right? So, anyway, I was getting really angry listening to this, especially when they're talking about Andy Warhol and talking about Andy Warhol as if he was like a saint. No, the man was a vicious dick. He treated people like they were disposable. And how do I know this? From interviews I've seen of people who knew him. I've met a couple people who knew him, and also from reading his work. Yeah, I read his diaries, right? Because his diaries are published. And I read, he wrote a few things, but this is the other piece I read it from, The Philosophy of Andy Warhol, From A to B and Back Again. So what does that mean, from A to B and back again? So he views people in conversation to him, he's A, and the other person is B. And he talks about having these conversations with people. The way he talks about the people in this book, oh my God, and the way he treats people. He's awful. He was awful. He was not a nice human being. Yeah. He was a creep. Anyway, I try not to be a creep. I know my work's a little creepy, but I try not to be a creep.